Let's bring in our Powerhouse Roundtable, former DNC Chair Donna Brazile, former RNC Chair and Trump White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, NPR White House correspondent Asma Khalid, and Politico Playbook co-author Rachel Bade. Welcome to all of you. And Donna, I want to start with you about Trump's comments on Friday night to a room full of black voters.
A room full of black conservatives, and we all know they're, about 5 to 10% of the black population is comprised of black conservatives. But Martha, I have to tell you, this is Black History Month. It's the history that we've all made as Americans, a history that we share, and a future that we all want to see together. No one that I've heard from, or no one that I understand, wants to go back to Donald Trump, go back to the past, go back to the train wreck, the division, and the chaos. So it's the history that we not only share, but the history that we want to make together. And under Donald Trump, we didn't make a lot of black history.
Reince Priebus, did you consider those comments racist? He wasn't on the teleprompter.
I don't know. Look, I remember back in 2016 when President Trump went in to say, hey, what the hell do you have to lose? And I was the one saying, oh, no, we can't say it like that. And, it turned out that he did better in the black community in 2016 than a lot of previous presidents. And today, if you look at the polling, he's looking at recent polling about 22% in the black community in the 7 battleground states. His record, whether it be the First Step Act, whether it be pardoning Alice Johnson, whether it be unemployment, was pretty good. And I think black voters are very open to Donald Trump, and one of the biggest movers to the Republican Party are black men under 40. And then on the other side, you've got Joe Biden, who just recently said that you ain't black if you want to support Donald Trump. He referred to a black reporter and asked the black reporter whether the black reporter was a junkie. I mean, the things he said about Barack Obama, which were ridiculous. I mean,
who said about Barack Obama? Donald Trump?
No, Joe Biden.
His nationality?
Joe Biden said, what did he say? I don't even want to repeat what Joe Biden said in 2008.
This is not a conversation about whether or not who has a record, okay? Because we know Donald Trump's record. This is about the future. And what Donald Trump said was racist tropes. And it's insulting and demeaning to basically go to black people and say, oh, don't you like the fact that I have 91 convictions? Don't you want to see this mug shot? Hell no.
Look,
we want freedom and justice and equality like everybody else.
For the record, I don't disagree. These things that are said are not helpful. They're distractions. I think the part of it is he's trying to be entertaining. Oh. I don't disagree. However, what I also see are the facts. And the facts are that 22% of black voters in America like what he's saying, like what he stands for, and likes him as a candidate. So that's something your side's gonna have to deal with.
I would just add that
Rachel,
how much of this is actually, folks in the black community actually liking Donald Trump versus feeling sort of neglected by Joe Biden right now. I mean, we've talked about this on this show. I mean, a lot of folks in the black community feeling like they voted for Joe Biden. They single-handedly helped deliver the nomination to him, and that he hasn't passed enough legislation and support for them. So that could be what we're seeing right now.
Well, Donald Trump's on the verge of getting the highest percentage of black votes in 50 years.
But it hasn't
been
explain to me this.
Yes. I want to move on to looking at South Carolina in general. No huge surprise, Asma,
no huge surprise.
that he won. But Nikki Haley saying she's staying in the race, and I think people are saying, why?
To what end, right? I mean, look, her campaign suggests that voters, and she has said that voters deserve a choice. My perennial question has been, at what point, though, does she start to have to win a state to show why she's on this ballot? I mean, I see this as a bigger sort of existential question within the Republican Party. We've talked a lot about the fact that many Democratic voters are disenchanted with Joe Biden, and there's this question about his age and where the electorate might be. On the Republican side, though, I do think there are voters who are very also disenchanted with Donald Trump. And a part of me wonders if Nikki Haley is sticking around long enough to make a viable calculation that she is a potential alternative should anything happen to Donald Trump.
And Rich, I want to go back to you on that. Is she the person that people would turn to if something did happen to Donald Trump?
The longer she stays in, the more she's going to anger Republican voters who want to unify. So there is that problem. Obviously, she she has this sort of race against the clock, right? If she can stay in long enough for something, for Trump to get a conviction or something like that, you know, people could potentially turn to her. But that's probably not going to happen because that's months and months away. But, you know, just to underscore what Asma was saying, Donald Trump clearly has a problem with the base. He talked last night about how Republicans are very united. But what, 1 in 5 voters told the AP that they would not vote for Donald Trump even if he got the nomination. These are Republican voters in South Carolina. How is he going to unite the party? And this is going to be a big problem for him in the general election.
So where do those voters go, Ryan?
Well, I think they're going to go.
There is a big chunk who don't want Donald Trump. So where do they go?
I think a lot of those folks are going to come back to Donald Trump, number one. You see it in polling. Every 4 years this happens. There's big primaries. And in the end, look like 2016. Oh, no one's going to go for Trump. And it all came back for Donald Trump.
He did lose in 2020, though.
He did, true. But I think in reality, this is South Carolina. This is Nikki Haley's home state. There's going to be some real affinity for Nikki Haley there. So if 1 in 5 voters who are Republicans that love Nikki Haley aren't happy about her losing by 20 points and saying, listen, I'm not going to support Donald Trump, that's not unusual. But the bigger threat, though, for Joe Biden is little watched thing happened this week in Wisconsin was that the Green Party is now going to have a line in Wisconsin. And Jill Stein in 2016 got over 30,000 votes in Wisconsin, and Donald Trump won by 22,000 votes in Wisconsin. So, and if you're looking at the dynamics that are going to be on the ballot, that Green Party line is something for everyone to watch.
And Donna, what does this do when you look forward? Joe Biden. A lot of people don't want Joe Biden who are Democrats.
We've been hearing that for the last couple of months, and you know what? People are still going out to vote, and Joe Biden is doing quite well in raising money. And I'm sure what you'll see over the next couple of weeks is more momentum, and the Democratic coalition comes back together and begin to reach out to independents. Look, we want to go back to Nikki Haley. I don't know her path forward. I mean, she picked up 3 delegates last night. This is a race for delegates. 1,215 is what you need on the Republican side. And she's going to have a hard time getting more delegates when the rules begin to change that says it's winner take all by CD or statewide. Donald Trump went in, maybe not Donald Trump personally, but his team went in to several of these states, including Michigan, and they're stirring the pots. So I don't know how far she will go, but if you have money, keep traveling.
And one of the things we have seen President Biden do is up his attacks on Donald Trump. Do you see that working at all?
Do I see that working? I don't know. I mean, look, they have certainly tried to up their attacks. We saw that just this week, even with the Alabama court decision on IVF, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I don't see that particularly effective yet. What we do see with Donald Trump yesterday in his CPAC comments is him try to pivot towards a general election mode also and make this just a contest with Joe Biden. I do think, though, that Nikki Haley's endurance in this race, to me, is not just about Donald Trump. It does strike me that it speaks to the fact that there is a subset of the American electorate that is dissatisfied with Joe Biden and Donald Trump being their only 2 options. And yes, she's running in a Republican electorate, but it speaks to that dissatisfaction.
And Rachel, let's move on to Michigan. You've got Michigan this week, and progressives have been upset about Joe Biden's support of Israel, which we think there might be some sort of ceasefire and hostage release brewing. That state has the largest percentage of Arab American voters. How concerned should the campaign be about this?
Way more concerned than they currently are. I actually talked to the leader of the Abandoned Biden movement on the ground there. He's a Palestinian American, knows folks who have had family members who have died during the bombardments in Gaza. And he was a Biden voter. Just a few months ago, he had a Biden-Harris sign in his yard. Now he says he would sooner vote for, what did he say? Sooner vote for Mickey Mouse than Joe Biden, even if it means voting for Donald Trump. So I think that if you look at the numbers, one more thing, Martha, Joe Biden won by 150,000 votes in Michigan. There are 200,000 Muslim or Arab American voters in Michigan. If he alienates all of them, Michigan is gone for him.
And small numbers, really, overall. We just have a few seconds here, but really could have a profound
a critical impact. And to that point, I spoke with a number of people who sat in meetings either with Biden campaign officials or with Biden officials, policymakers, who are so dissatisfied, who came out of those meetings still not convinced that they will vote for Joe Biden.
Something we'll all watch this week. Michigan coming up. Thanks to all of you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.